Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to Aprelevka, the town where I actually live in Moscow region. And today is Aprelevka City Day, and I thought I'd show you around the activities they've got going on, and perhaps listen to a little bit of music, and just have a look what it's like in Aprelevka where I live, 50 kilometers from Moscow. We're not anywhere near the center of Moscow today. Let's go check it out. I really am out in the suburbs today, and I'm actually in one of the older parts of Aprelevka as well, with some of the much older Russian typical apartments right here. And they've actually closed off the main road today, which makes it a little bit difficult to get through for the people that live here. And you can see some other houses right here, and we really are in the Moscow regional suburbs. And I've shown this in videos in Moscow center. When they have events, they close off the roads. So what they do, they just put the big water truck right here, and then all the cars that turn up have no idea where to go, at least for a few hours anyway. So we're gonna go and check it out together. It's not really the greatest of weather today. It's very overcast. Might even rain a little bit later on. I think actually last year when I came it also rained. So I think there's something about Aprelevka Day where it's always raining every time I come to this event. The other thing, when you come to any event in Russia, they like to put the music as loud as possible. And they've got a stage set up with different singing and dancing events going on. And then all the way down the street, they've got little stalls selling handicrafts, especially Russian souvenirs. Check out that Matryoshka dolls in the back there. How neat is that? Lots of stuff for the kids as well and children, which is really nice. And this is the main street that leads to our House of Culture. Wow, this music is extra loud, and I can't avoid coming to events with loud music. They love just to put it up just a few notches too high. Looks like someone does homemade crocheted animals. That's pretty cool. Is that a rabbit or a kangaroo in the corner there? And I think, safely, everybody in our town is here today. And I'm going to try to speak over the music going on. There's face painting for all of the kids. And they've even got set up a photo wall as well. I love Aprelevka, and this is where I've lived for pretty much 10 years. And I think maybe one of these girls was on stage. How nice is this? And this is the square area or garden that surrounds the House of Culture. There's actually a pizza shop across the street there. There isn't really too many shops where we are here. It's very much suburban Russia. Somebody's got paintings. That's pretty neat. And lots of people have definitely come out today for this event. It runs all day until the evening. Very nice. I really hope that these are local people from at least Aprelevka, or maybe Narofominsk, which is the region a little bit further away from here. And how nice. Pretty sure these are all painted by the ladies right here. This is kind of different. Now the music seems to have got a little bit louder. Now if you're interested in why there's musical notes and a record on the picture, it's because Aprelevka was known as the record production city of the USSR, and they had a factory here that was producing vinyl records. Our local shopping center is called Melodia, or Melody, in honor of the record factory that used to be here. It's long closed, of course. I think you can still buy records, but I don't think they're actually manufacturing them. We've got some more stalls. Lots of handmade things, which is really nice. I think, are they candles, I think? I'm not sure. Really cool. All things that people must make on the weekends or on their days off. I'm not sure. Really cool. Lots of things that are children and family orientated, which is nice. Lots of just simple, basic things. And this is our House of Culture. They have one of these in fairly well every city in Russia. And of course, some of them in the center of Moscow are a little bit more famous. Gorky Park, of course, or Park Kultury. And this is Aprelevka's Kultury. I've been trying to tweak the microphone and the sound so that it's not so overbearing in the background, so hopefully it comes out okay. But we're here for a cultural enlightenment here in Aprelevka today. There's really quite a lot of these stalls selling items and trinkets and different small items. Please let me know in the comments, are you a collector of something? Maybe there's a certain item that you enjoy collecting. These crocheted pets are really cool. Very nice. I think this might be gingerbread. I wonder. Pretty much looks like it is. I wonder if it's Aprelevka gingerbread. Somebody maybe locally has it for sale. There we go. More face painting. And I think there must be a theme with all of the stands here, because they're all handmade or homemade items. Nothing made in China, which is really nice. All throughout the day they've got different cultural things up on the stage, and singing, dancing, and people of different ages too. You see the ladies right here. Lots of interest as well. This is Russian transport. Who needs a car? A lot of the activities for the City Day really focuses on families and children, and things like face painting and giving out balloons and all the very simple things you can do. Just encourages people to come out to these events. They've got horse and pony rides, which is really nice. It's got the wings there in case he gets tired. And then they actually have some food around the back. This food truck right here is normally parked by our train station, and they must have moved it temporarily today. It's a little bit quieter back here, not much. And they've got different food and snacks, popcorn, and they've even got traditional lemonade rather than having cola and fast food. Corn. This is one of the staple items of summer in Russia, is to have some corn. And they've got candy apples. Check that out. How nice. Candy apples. Now, if anyone can remember back to their childhood, have they had a candy apple? I remember having them. And it was so hard on your teeth, chomping away to eat them. Someone's become very resourceful here and put some normal snacks and food. But this is what we want. We want some corn, or in Russian, kukuruza. And these guys are doing a nice business. Very simple. This trolley right here just boils the water, put the corn in there, and then some salt, and you're all good. This is also nice to see fresh fruit. Now, if you're wondering what the phone numbers are, this is how you can pay. You do a phone transfer of the money for whatever it costs. Most of these will be just very much home vendors, nothing fancy set up. Got strawberries and bananas, and then there's chocolate as well. How nice is that? Wow, very nice. I really enjoy coming to City Day here. There's so much going on, and in a small town where I live, it's amazing that I think every single person that lives here comes to this event today at some point. And it's just interesting to see hundreds or thousands of people in Aprelevka that you really don't see on any normal day. I think the general way to describe this event is like a city fair or a fete. I think a lot of people would use those two words, and they do all the things really for kids and families, and all these little businesses come along and of course try to make a little bit of money out of these different prize games. You can throw the darts. It looks like they put a little line on the floor here so you can throw from a different distance. Very nice. And all of this is basically in the back area of the House of Culture here. It's really a very big building inside, and they do lots of different events on different days when you come here, and all these different carnival type games that they've got going on. They've got a spin the wheel game, so I think perhaps you pay 100 rubles or about $1, and you get to pick a balloon, and then you win a certain prize. Maybe by the end of the day all the big prizes are at the bottom. And there's more things. Really, it's all children orientated, which is super nice. There's another one here where you throw the darts. There's even a coffee van. Have a look at that. I love these things. They're such a great little business. If you can go to enough events. They've got more fruit, which is nice. And then I think all the mums and parents getting coffee. Very nice. How often do you see a camel just walking down the street in Russia? Not so often, I don't think. And you can see the very classic Khrushchevka apartments off in the background. Someone's painted a big mural on the side. I wonder if that guy might be involved in the record factory. Someone from Aprelevka is watching, let me know. And you'll see here how they traditionally build the squares in these towns. So they put all the apartments around this central garden area, And they put playground equipment and all things that are family and children orientated. Now this is very much where I live. I'm only about a 5-minute walk from here. But this is a very typical Khrushchevka or panel house. You can see the panels, they're all prefabricated. If you want to see a video of a tour of one of these, I'll put it as a card so you can check that out. Now the one thing I get comments on a lot is the fact that I make a lot of videos in Moscow. Now I live in Moscow region, which is the area that is outside the center of Moscow. If you've ever seen a map, you'll know it's a big ring, and I live outside that central ring. And this is really very much the suburbs of Moscow region. How simple is this thing for the kids? Very nice. This is proper Soviet carnival rides right here. Nothing complicated about it. Aprelevka, I believe, has 3 schools. There is actually one literally a couple of minutes walk from here, and there's one on the opposite side of the train station, and there's one on the other side of the highway. And I think every child from the 3 schools must be here today and come to do the different activities that are going on. And they've got a bouncy castle, which is pretty cool. They must do it in sessions, I think. So everybody jumps off and then everybody lines up to go on. I think this one actually might be a free one, if I'm not mistaken. And the kids get to use this for so many minutes and then they swap over. You can see on the side of the building here more pieces of history, I think is the best way to put it, that talk about this town and its connection with music and the actual factory that used to be based here in Aprelevka. And I think there isn't a single person in Russia, particularly older, who doesn't own a record that was made at the factory nearby here. And very cool that they've put these murals on the top of the building in honor of that. Very neat. I really hope this is an interesting video. Now, I'm not showing anything that's too topical or breaking news. This video won't get thousands of views. It'll get a few. And I think everybody that's my core audience, you guys watching, I think will enjoy this as a bit of a walk around Aprelevka City Day and just see what it's like where I live. Now I literally live up the street from here and I come here quite often for a walk when I come from my house to the train station and go for a nice walk around the park as well. So this is really where I live in Russia. Of course, we saw where all the kids are. Now let's see where all of the parents and adults are. And around the back of the building here, they've got a little bit of a food cafe set up. And then everybody here is sitting on the benches enjoying something to eat. And then they've got one stand over here with some snacks. They've got more corn. You can also get ice creams as well. Very nice. And corn is one of the famous Russian fast food items. And this is what we want to see. Now, the last couple of years, they've just had these basic tables and chairs. And it looks like this year they've upgraded, put these big umbrellas, which is really nice, and these park benches that they brought. So they've really upped the game a little. And then have a look, shashlik or barbecued meat. Very beautiful. They got pork, they've got beef, they've also got lula kebab right there. And I'd say they probably have drinks and beer as well. Or maybe these are non-alcoholic ones. classic ones. There's another one over here. So these are all local people that just come and set these up for the day. And as simple as this, we've got another shashlik station right here. Very nice. Now I'm going to have to find one of these to have something to eat. And then have a look over here now. They've definitely upped the game this year. This doesn't look like the local guys doing business. This looks like a bit more of a serious setup compared to normal. Let's have a look what they've got over here though. Potatoes, and then they've got the different vegetable ones. Very nice. Now the way you buy these is you buy them by weight and by 100-gram weight, and then generally you just buy one skewer of something. So maybe you'll get one skewer of meat, maybe one of the veggies. I've got all the prices here listed. And not everywhere selling fizzy drinks. They've got the traditional lemonades. What's super interesting is they've got Yorkshire glassware written on this container. Now, my father is born in Yorkshire, in England, and how interesting. Established in 1898, Yorkshire glassware. That is just so random here in the town where I am, and they've got that on display. This really is a big upgrade from the last couple of years. I much prefer the simpler mum and dad style ones over here. Nothing too fancy, some tables and chairs. And then now they're coming out with these fancier versions and a lot more serious setups as well. You can also get the bread as well. But this is shashlik, basically a tinderbox with coals. And then once them coals are hot enough, you put the skewers on and baby potatoes. And it looks like the corn lady on this side isn't getting lots of trade. And there's, I think, a gentleman over here with kvass, I think. It looks like. Actually, this is beer. So there's actually a beer tent, which is really nice. So he's got beer on tap. And then the kegs are just in the back there. So simple. You might be a follower of the channel. I've shown quite a few times in Moscow where they've got events and a lot of things that the administration provide for free. Now, here is no different. And we're 50 kilometers from Moscow, and they've got a field kitchen set up with free food. So what we're looking at right here is a traditional Russian military field kitchen, and they just drive this in somewhere and set it up. And there'll be a couple of cooks inside. You can see the vents there from the ovens, and they then ladle out the food and put it in these big casks right here, or canisters. And they serve the food on tables over here. And this will all be people that are from the local nearby military bases. Now, where we are here, about another 20 or 30 kilometers away, is Kubinka. And actually, Park Patriot is not far from here as well. So they're probably the local people from there. And this is all free. And then have a look at the line and how many people are waiting for some free food and free snacks. And I've shown this in Moscow, and it's no different in Moscow or in Aprelevka, how many people would be here lining up. And these kids and families have, of course, the choice of getting some snacks or popcorn. And what I want is shashlik, of course. But lots of people are wanting this field kitchen food. and they've got grechka, and they've got tea, and they've got bread. And this is as simple as it is. And this is absolutely the most typical food setup you can get in Russia. Hot tea, and then they've got people handing out the grechka right here. And imagine the kids, they want grechka, they don't want McDonald's, they don't want KFC, they want Russian hearty food. So you get a bowl of grechka, and then you get a slice of bread, and then you get a cup of tea. And that's as simple as it comes. Our local fire station has brought down the truck as well. I'm fairly sure today, because of City Day, everybody is here, and all of the local administration will be here somewhere, and all of the local services are in attendance. Pretty much anything that's happening today in my town is happening here, so no worries at all. Very nice. Now, if you're from Russia, please tell everybody in the comments that this is very typical. It doesn't just happen in the center of Moscow. It doesn't just happen from the mayor of Moscow. They do it in the regional areas as well. And this is completely normal. I walk back around this side of the building. The music starts to kick in again, and it looks like they've got a opera singer, or at least a soloist singer on stage there. So I think I'm gonna go find something to eat and get away from this loud music. I think the main thing you get from coming to these events is the pride in the city where you live. Now, we may not live in the most beautiful place in Moscow or in Russia, but I've lived here for right about 10 years since I originally came here, and this is my home, and it's the home of everybody that we see in this video, and it's so nice to see lots of kids and families out enjoying the day. And the blue skies are creeping through the clouds. And they take a break between singing. And they've got these different things set up, and different little tables. There's a lady over here with flowers. And then I think over here you can do like a dress up and take photos with different costumes, which is really interesting. I really wish the music wasn't that loud, and I hope it's coming across okay. They've got a really interesting display here with some photos of the area where I am, and it says about Aprelevka, the past we didn't know. And I think probably a lot of people that live here are obviously people that were born here or moved here and just didn't know some of these places existed, and it's really amazing. And then there's a little thing here about the actual record plant and some photos of the people that work there, and even when they reconstructed the factory. So how neat is that? That's pretty cool. They brought this outside. I think this is from the House of Culture. Lots of people enjoying the music and the singing and all the different acts that are coming up on stage. Really nice to see. Wow. Lots of people enjoying the music. You don't really need to stand that close because it's loud enough. You can be much further away. Have a look. I really need to come back around the other side where it's just a little bit quieter, and I want to see if I can find something to eat, hopefully, at one of these stalls. So I decided to get some shashlik and Afghanistan-made Coca-Cola. What's going on with that? Now I know it's everywhere in Russia at the moment. You can get Coca-Cola from every country that you like, except made here in Russia. And I got pork shashlik, and you get some bread, and I got some homemade sauce. It's like a ketchup or a bit of a chutney, but it's not spicy at all. And I forgot to get a knife to cut my pork, but basically barbecued pork, a little bit of sauce, and very delicious. These guys that are making it here are really pretty much exactly how they'd make it at their own house. So you're eating homemade barbecued pork, and I got myself one skewer of shashlik or pork. So yeah, very nice. It's quite a little bit later now than when I was eating some food, and I've come and discovered the karaoke section, and the sun is actually beaming over here. And check this out, karaoke! And there is actually a TV that they can watch and learn from. However, they're doing their own thing. How cool is this? Hopefully YouTube doesn't look badly on it. How cool is that? And then all the people enjoying karaoke right here. So cool. So basically they've set up a stage over here in the park where you can just get up and sing and do your own thing, and completely karaoke style. The concert's still ongoing. Actually, I think it doesn't finish tonight till 10 p.m. and there's still a lot of people around. I think a lot of people come and go throughout the day. And they have a whole list of people performing and singing. It's very nice. And lots of people here, really and truly. I mean, if I walk around in one go, I would say every person from our town is here somewhere. A few people have come up and said hello to me and recognized me, which is nice. And even one neighbor I recognize here as well. As I slowly head on home, I thought I'd leave you with one last view of where I live and how very typical it is. And not everywhere is skyscrapers and beautiful places and beautiful parks. But this is Aprelevka. This is where I live. And I'm literally just a couple of minutes from here, and this is exactly the houses around where I am. These very normal Khrushchevka style buildings. Pretty much my second most popular video on the channel is a tour of one of these apartments. So I definitely urge you to have a look at that if you haven't seen it before. And is this typical where you live in the world? Our kids playing in the park, and kids on swings, and kids outside. Now this is right about 7 p.m. and of course with summer we get much longer daylight hours here. But this is as normal as it comes, and I hope today's video shows a little bit of where I live and the events that they do here from time to time. And all the kids completely happy. As I come to the end of the video, I really hope you've enjoyed this walk around today of Aprelevka City Day and my typical town where I live here in Moscow region. It's only about 50 kilometers from Moscow, probably a little bit closer depending on the road or the traffic to get to the center of Moscow. And such a nice place. It's nice and quiet. Okay, days like today, the concert, but we've got to have these sorts of events. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, post in the comment, and if you write the word "I'm a record breaker," and that would reference the records and the record factory that was here at Aprelevka, and I'll know that you've got to the end of the video. Hopefully you can comment, and I'll know that you've been watching as a horse and cart just goes by. If you want to follow me on Telegram, there's a link right there. Posted a few photos today of that. And if you want to watch an older video, click the link right here. I'll actually put the Karaoke apartment tour. You can check that out next. Thanks everybody. Bye.